system. Which is why they're doing everything in their power to make me Manassian or something. Again, their motives and standard operating procedures are very questionable as far as who are they protecting and how can they claim they're protecting public safety? And they're acting in good faith in anything they do. It's all just covering up the mistakes they've been making for years. The pandemic is a wake-up call. All properties are under Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, including minimum building code. Less government means less checks and balances and oversight, like the 737 Max. Well, we'll just ask that. Like they're asking these landlords. Here they came in, they have an assessment, partial assessment, that shows it is definitely not the code. They just went, well, let's forget that. And, you know, here we are. Right? Don't think of us. I mean, what about you guys? There's over potentially $2 million in fines and that should be collected here. There's already been $44,400 in unlawful rent collected at this residence since we've been here, including May's, in good faith. And all we need is them to come in here because they're saying, oh no, we've done everything right. Those documents we signed and represented to get that license is valid. Everything they filed that the lawyer and paralegals filed with the landlord tenant, which is required to be not misrepresented, is factual. Well, there's one way to answer that. You do the inspection. There is no decision that can be done without that inspection. Because it's he said, she said. Well, guess what? Time for you to prove it. And the only people who can is you. Minister Clark. Ian Kerr. So, we have, this is land tax fraud, municipal act fraud. Openly done. Practice. This is their business plan. We need to look in every one of these development deals, so-called development deals, and what, they get to look good on paper. Look at all the new construction. Look at all the apartments. Really? You can't get it. There's no place to rent here. We were paying $1,200 a month. You can't get one for $1,200 a month. That's what we can afford. And guess what? I guess in order to afford it now, we got to go get services, and then they're going to subsidize, right? All on the taxpayer's dime for an arbitrarily assessed, because again, prove it. Prove the value of these buildings. Prove the value of every building, public building you are responsible for. And then it needs to be corrected. Because guess what? They're going to fly on the high hog until that's where they want it. Then they're going to say, oh, you bought your house for $600,000? Isn't that nice? Oh, well, actually, we did a correction. It's actually only worth $200,000, but guess what? You got to still pay the difference because you signed the paper. Or you just lose your house, and then they write that off, rape it out of the value of the system, send it to the Commonwealth. I'm tired of having my pocket picked, and I'm sorry, but I am a slave, and I got nothing left to lose. And I'm just here to tell you, you guys need to realize, stop singing in your chains, eh? It's time to stand up and end this. Anyway, so we got no merit, eh? But the fact of the matter is, and this is land tax fraud or municipal act fraud, we have informed all powers that be, including the finance minister, solicitor general, attorney general, and minister, prime minister, like everybody. Everybody. So, but we got no merit, but Steve Ross, the lawyer and solicitor for the city of Waterloo, and I bet you anybody, you go look at the law that was signed for the rental license bylaw, it's probably signed by Steve Ross. And it wasn't Steve Ross, it was somebody else from the legal department that equally represents every level of government when they sign that document as the lawyer for that place. It's the same one that if we go find the development deal, sign the deal where they said, you know, oh, here's the banking, here's the financing, which again, they're interfering with proper, first of all, they're interfering with a proper assessment. We got a partial assessment here, got a proper lawful work order, which is required if it's not satisfied, which the only way it can be satisfied is to have the work done, checked, and be released. You can't just write a letter before a hammer's even been swung and go, consider it closed. Or can you? I guess you can, right? If you're acting unlawfully and you got judicial immunity. So Steve Ross is not there anymore. He got either fired or his contract was not renewed. Probably this not renewed because they don't want to make it look like he did anything wrong. He was working on their behalf, right? On both sides of the fence. And screw the difference, we'll just work it all out later and charge it back to the taxpayer anyway. Or we'll ignore it and use judicial immunity. I mean, that's why we need to find out what happened here, right? Atlas Property Group. You see, what happened was July, or end of June, they finally put up the rental license in this property as required by law. Now, it's not valid unless the license is hanging in the residence. So the fact that it was under license since 2019 when they gave him the license here and the one next door at the same time and the other ones for the other properties he has, I mean, he's probably, all you do is fill out papers, make it look good, and then, yeah, here you go, rubber stamp, no problem. Oh, you got a problem with that? Well, we'll run interference for you. We'll make sure that we make the people pay, and we'll punish them, and we'll abuse the taxpayers' funds. We'll do all this. Anyway, Atlas Property Group, you know, Mark Koenig, Chief Financial Officer, bragging that, well, he brought it from $8 million to $10 million in 2 years, and other stuff. You can go see it on the website. At the same time, you can see the reviews from all of his other properties where they're just basically doing what they want, including in Ontario charging a security deposit for a key, which is unlawful, right? Landlord-tenant board? It's all this enforcement and policing that's going on is keeping us safe, right? They don't even follow manufacturer's instructions. They just gloss over everything because it's like, that's just problematic. We'll just do what we want. If people don't like it, they complain, well, we'll just do this. So Atlas Property Group, you know, they had this license posted. We knew about the misrepresented documents. I mean, here it is. They say this is the code. That's how they got that license. Everything is perfect. There's nothing out of sorts here. The fence is fine. Everything's fine. We guarantee it's fine. Here it is. Signed by, represented by the owner and the property management of Atlas Property Group, which is also Koenig Holdings because it's the same guy. Well, legally they're not, I guess. I mean, well, I guess we'll find out at trial, maybe? Anyway, we sent them the letter, and I'm posting the letter here. It was a demand letter stating clearly that they have 30 days to prove the license and or bring the place into compliance. That was written July 7th. What's the date today? Anyway, the reason why they withdrew the action at landlord-tenant in November and why they let them is because they closed permanently in December. So the allegation is, as it stands, and I'm posting the letter up. I will post it in its entirety. And I'm also posting the other letter that was sent to Lisa Nadon just recently regarding this last action that they did. They're just playing games with everybody. And not just us. More importantly, you, the taxpayer. Every law-abiding citizen. They are putting everybody in danger. Again, I'm sure those inspectors and everybody would love to do nothing more than their job, and what they're doing what they're being trained is their job, and the boundaries and limits of their job. So it's a training too. The police as well. Again, improper training. You know, they just don't want to look at anything they've done that they're doing, right? They don't have to. It's judicial immunity. So I'll be posting letters sent to Lisa Nadon, and basically it's an all-in open malfeasance and misfeasance, aiding and abetting, hiding behind judicial immunity. Effectively, they've cut off all my health care, all representation. So they've effectively cut off all my health care, all representation. We are under siege, defending our... and I'm defending other disabled people here, trying to. In a system where, well, you know what they've been telling you. We ask for your help. You need to get in touch with these people first and foremost and get an inspection. Because landlord-tenant is a public hearing, I am announcing here today that if they decide to go ahead with this hearing without giving us the proper assistance, because again, this must be done through an application. There are subpoenas that we need to secure, such as subpoena of Theo Papadopoulos and Commissions Worldwide Inc. and subpoena Mark Koenig on behalf of Atlas Property Group Waterloo and Koenig Holdings, and they're to bring all of their maintenance records with them, including copies of these applications that they were so gloriously misrepresent and are still misrepresented to this day. The work order is still not completed, and they've been aided and abetted by the region, by the province, by the city to operate an unlawful rental company or companies, including Atlas Property Group, which they had a lot of holdings in Waterloo, that the city of Waterloo region, all of them are all have been allowing them to operate unlawfully, in spite of their own law. And it appears to be as part of a willing partnership to cover their willing partners in remuneration for building. There are serious issues that need to be addressed here, and I'm again saying I'm going to release. I'm also going to put on the call that I made to the finance minister's office. Okay, because you need to hear it. And then I urge you, please, we need to put an end to this. So I will be, like I said, because it's a public hearing. If they decide to go ahead with it, I will be televising it live on YouTube, so you can be part of the experience and see your tax dollars at work. Matter of fact, if they open this area for visitation, I would ask people to submit, if they are of good standing and good character, they wish to participate as a witness, impartial witness, to come here and just look at things and be able to be a witness to what is here before we get removed, because we are going to document it to the last nail. And our case is misfeasance and malfeasance against the government. We urge everybody to join. Look at the evidence. You know, I'd like to say some more, but you know, unfortunately, I have to go and fill out some applications, and I gotta go write it down. Anyway, we hope you can help. Please be well. Please stay well. It's all a matter of distraction. Don't get distracted. Pay attention to what's really going on. It's very simple. If their mouth is moving, they're lying. Again, there's so many good people that would like to do their job, but they're prevented from. Doctors have their hands tied. Again, doctors are not being allowed to give a full medical examination of people who are brought in by police, and I have been injured at multiple arrests. Oh, it's all medical care, right? Don't worry, they care. I just hope you do enough to help yourselves, and maybe us too. Never know. Thank you. Be well.